Good morning and welcome to another episode of Josh and Pat. I'm Joshua Klein, joined by Patrick Cassidy, and Ezekiel Elliott is going back to the Cowboys, potentially. Now, if we all remember, Zeke had some glorious moments with the Cowboys, his last being getting pancaked on the last play as they get eliminated from the playoffs. Now, does Zeke want to redeem himself in that moment? Maybe. Do the Cowboys want to say, hey, we're not that team anymore. Come back to us, put us over the top, and maybe we go win a Super Bowl because this is our year? I don't know, Patrick. What's happening here?
Yeah, sometimes you got to go back to go forward. And with Zeke, you got to think there's no sweeter thing than to go back to the team that drafted you, the team that gave you that big contract.
Big contract. Huge.
And that team that, probably won't have you be an offensive lineman again.
Yeah, that definitely was an interesting play call, interesting move for sure. Because, I don't ever recall a time when he was playing offensive lineman. But maybe they're like, hey, we paid you a lot of money. You do what we say to do. But we don't want to relive and, go back and just live in the past. We're here in the present. We're here in the future. And the Cowboys, they're a new team. They're saying, hey, we're going to go out. We're going to go backwards to go forward. We're going to get Zeke back. And maybe if we feed Zeke, maybe things are going to be great for us. And so we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, and, guys on the team, they're going, hey, we want Zeke back. Because when you look at it, Ezekiel Elliott, probably the greatest Cowboys running back of all time. It's hard to think of another one that comes to mind at this point.
Better than Zeke? Nah, I can't. No.
So, probably definitely not more expensive than Zeke.
No, but you get what you pay for. It's a saying that I've heard before. So, hey, good for Zeke. Moving on to the Cowboys. We're feeling good about that. Moving on, we got Malik Willis battling for QB spot number 2.
Hey, good for Malik. Good for Malik. This is the stories we want to hear.
Yes, and you know what? It's exciting for Malik because, once you battle and you win that second spot, then you could start battling for the first spot. And so this is just, he's climbing up the ladder. We knew this was going to happen because we knew when they drafted Will Levis that it was really going to light that fire underneath Malik Willis and really try to challenge him to play his best football. And now now it seems like it's working.
Well, and that's what we're seeing, Josh, because I think we've been Malik Willis supporters since day one.
Oh, my gosh, massive Malik Willis supporters.
On this show. And when you think of Malik, you think of a guy that's going to go in the lab. Yep. He's going to work hard. He's going to prove it. Yep. And, Will Levis, even though he had that meeting with Michael Rubin.
Now, that was a big meeting. And anytime you get a chance to meet with Michael Rubin, it's, you got to be excited about that.
He did. And I don't think Malik's had that meeting yet. But It looks like Malik, like you said, it lights that fire. He's coming back.
Yep.
And like you said, Josh, you can't get the QB1 if you're not QB2 yet.
Yeah. And this is just, again, this is a stepping ladder. We're excited to see what Malik can do. What this Liberty talent can do in the NFL.
This could be the start of something big here for the Tennessee Titans.
So wait, who is he battling with for QB2 right now?
Well, he's battling Will Levis for QB2.
Well, that's great because we know Ryan Tannehill definitely QB1.
Yeah, he's locking that down.
Okay.
So and we know that because
he did come out with the pictures in
the new
uniforms. You're right. Yeah. Okay. So they draft 2 quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds? No,
first 3 rounds the last
in the past 2 years, but they're not going to go with either of them this year.
Right, because you got to sit and mature.
They're the long play.
Right, it's a long play behind Ryan Tannehill, which former wide receiver Ryan Tannehill at Texas A&M. So we understand it's a long-term plan. It's probably probably a 5-year plan for the Titans. You would think.
Yeah, and that's why you go out and get D-Hop now.
100%.
Because then you could lay the foundation early.
You lay the foundation early because you're trying to build a culture down there in Tennessee. And you got to have these young quarterbacks come in and know what it's like to have a veteran, wide receiver that's arguably one of the best at their position in the game, so that when he inevitably leaves, they're going to want another one. And so good for the Tennessee Titans to do that.
Yeah, it's great for them. Somebody who's looking for a team right now, Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz made his Instagram debut rocking the mix match alternate uniforms of Eagles helmet, Commanders / new name pending
yes
jersey, Colts shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And so is he saying that, hey, I'm only going to play for one of these 3 teams, or is he saying I'm going to go wherever I'm ready?
Yeah, and I think Carson Wentz he's open. He's available to jobs. You know, some people say, is he one of the best 64 quarterbacks in the NFL? I think certainly the argument can be made.
100%.
Is he one of the most expensive quarterbacks in terms of money they've made? 100%.
Yep.
And and the problem is Carson Wentz.
Hey, but he was almost an MVP.
Almost an MVP. And the problem is Carson Wentz just hasn't been put in the right situation.
No.
He's got loads of talent. North Dakota State. We see how other North Dakota State quarterbacks are turning out. I mean, look at Trey Lance. He's doing wonders over there in San Francisco. So you just haven't given the guy enough time yet. He hasn't been put in the right situation.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think his next job is going to be his best job. And I think he can 100% be a backup somewhere at the very least.
I agree.
The very least, what are we doing here? He's definitely top 64 in my eyes.
Well, I think you got to do this. So, I mean, you draft, if you're Tennessee, you draft Will Levis to light that fire for Malik Willis. But we can't just be handing the job to Ryan Tannehill. I think you got to bring in Carson Wentz to light that fire under Ryan Tannehill. And because why have 3 QBs battling for
4?
Exactly.
Makes sense. Now, as selfishly, do I kind of hope that nobody picks him up and that next year he's playing for my Houston Roughnecks XFL team?
Could be big.
100%. Because if we brought Carson Wentz in, I'm just going to say it. We're winning the championship for sure. Sure.
And not only does it take that team, it takes the XFL, that league, to the next level.
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, and maybe we need to get some Saudi dollars in there to make that happen? I don't know. But I think we could do it. But that being said, get Carson Wentz a job. He deserves it. Former almost MVP.
Almost.
And former Super Bowl champion.
He is a Super Bowl champion. He does have a ring. People forget.
And people are going to forget that. His leadership off the bench was really critical to putting that team over the top.
Yeah, because he was definitely there every day helping the boys in the locker room.
Oh, 100%.
That's the type of guy he is.
100%. And so we need to stop disrespecting Carson Wentz. We need to put some respect on his name. Get him a job. The Saints are hosting Kareem Hunt in a workout today. This is exciting for the Saints because right now they have 0 running backs, I believe.
Right.
Because they got 1 injured, 1 on a 3-game suspension for
an issue.
Just stuff.
Yeah.
And so you bring in Kareem Hunt, who I thought was on the Browns up until right now. He's not.
It turns out he isn't. Right.
He's not on the Browns. He is in fact a free agent. And this could be a big get for the Saints because, as you guys remember, the Saints are in a prime position to compete to win the division,
win the NFC South.
And we know the NFC South. I mean, it's going to be a juggernaut this year.
Well, let's look at the NFC South. Let's take a look at it.
Break it down, Pat.
Okay, so we have the Saints there.
Yep.
We have the Buccaneers.
Oh, Baker Mayfield leading the charge there, but he is in a tight QB battle, allegedly.
Tight QB battle with Kyle Trask. Josh, look at the Panthers. They got Bryce Young.
Oh.
They bring him in, and you start just looking around the whole league here, the whole division, and I start going, maybe Derek Carr's the guy.
So you're saying, I mean, listen, you just listed it out there. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough competing down there. But, I mean, again, like I said, I think the Saints have equal opportunity if they...
It's an equal opportunity
If they go out there and ball, and you're right, with Derek Carr and fresh spot.
Fresh Kareem Hunt.
And you got, he's handing the ball off to Kareem Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just think about what could happen.
Well, and he's not on the Browns anymore. So you're talking about unleashing a whole different side of Kareem Hunt than you've seen in the last few years.
Yep.
You're talking about a guy that's gotten out of the city of Cleveland. He doesn't have to watch fans.
I mean, we saw the Odell Beckham Jr. effect. Once you leave Cleveland, it's beautiful.
It's arguably the best thing that could ever happen to you.
Yeah. I mean, we've said it before on the show. Being in Cleveland was more detrimental to Odell Beckham Jr.'s career than not having an ACL.
Correct.
And so you get him out. He almost wins Super Bowl MVP. You get Kareem out of there. The sky's the limit.
The sky is the limit. Well, the dome's the limit there. The dome ceiling. That's okay.
So we're excited for Kareem. Hey, we're rooting for you, and we're rooting for the Saints. We believe in you guys. Do they still have the red rifle?
No, they do not. Andy Dalton, I believe, is in Carolina.
He is in Carolina.
Yeah. He's gonna be back in.
He went to the rival.
It's an interdivision situation.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah.
No loyalty anymore in the league.
It's tough for Andy. He's just trying to get a job out there.
Tough for Andy.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of tough, Pac-12 is in shambles right now. We're down to 4 teams. We have Washington State, Oregon State, Stanford, and Cal. Now, these 4 teams, they're holding strong. They're saying, I guess if this ship is sinking, we're sinking with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it does not look good for the Pac-12.
Yeah, this is one of these situations where, you get a group of guys together and it's going, hey guys, I'm telling you what, this whole summer, no girls, we're staying single, we're gonna ride it out. It's gonna be hot guy summer. And then it gets to July and you got the 4 guys sitting around going, yeah, so I thought it was just gonna be a boys' summer, and everybody else is linked up with the girls, and you're looking around and you're going, well, what do we do now? Well, we're just gonna hold strong, and that's exactly what the Pac-12 is doing.
Well, listen, they're holding strong, and I don't really know what the leadership's doing too much, because personally, if I was in charge of the Pac-12, I mean, we would be doing things a little bit differently.
Something. Yeah.
First thing we're doing, we're getting streaming deals with every network.
This is how we fix the Pac-12. Right.
Yeah, this is how we do it. So we're going to say, hey, we're going to be on Apple TV. We might go to Netflix.
Boom.
We're going to be on the CW.
Yep.
Right after NASCAR.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we go ESPN, CBS. I don't know. We can go anywhere.
Fox,
NBC. We go. We'll give a game to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that you do that, and then second, you gotta get some new teams in here.
I think we gotta, Josh. Let's break it down. Let's fix the Pac-12.
Let's fix the Pac-12. First thing you do, you get the streaming deals with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing you do is you bring in a couple teams. First, you get Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, reigning national champion. You bring them in, but you can't just bring in Georgia. You got to bring in some, like, a little bit of rivalry. So you get Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So you get Alabama and Georgia in the Pac-12. We're off to a great start.
Josh, you're adding those guys. And those are big gets. You're really helping the football side of things. But we're not just going to be a football conference in the Pac-12.
No.
This is what we do to fix the conference as a whole.
Yep.
If I'm the Pac-12, I go out and I get Duke and I get North Carolina, because at that point you automatically add credibility to the basketball conference.
Exactly. So now you have 8 teams. Right?
Well, we got to get to 12.
The 8 teams. You got to get 4 more. Okay. So I go and I say, hey, who do I know who already has experience playing with the Pac-12?
Exactly.
We go out and we get Oregon.
Great call, Josh.
Okay? You bring in Oregon because already got the in-state rivalry right there, Oregon State. And all of a sudden, this Pac-12 is shaping up to be a pretty sweet conference.
Josh, and to go get team number 10, you go back to go forward again. You bring in a school like USC. I think USC could really add a lot to the Pac-12.
USC, come up. They're building the program.
Yeah, they're already on the West Coast.
I mean, the Pac-12 just got electric. And then you need 2 more teams. Maybe you go get a storied school like Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm. I think Notre Dame, the amount of fans, the amount of money that you could add by getting Notre Dame, it's a no-brainer for the Pac-12 to try to go get them.
Exactly. And then 12 school, you could plug and play a lot of different schools in there. You could go Penn State. You could go, somewhere else. But you know what? I'm going Ohio State.
Ohio State would
You take Ohio State from the Big Ten, you put them in the Pac-12, and then now we're get to see a lot more Ohio State and playing Georgia, a lot more Ohio State playing Alabama.
It's a no-brainer.
And sure, you break up the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry, but
that's okay. They can play non-conference every year. Mm-hmm. It's too easy not to do.
It's too easy to fix the Pac-12, and I don't know why
they're not.
They're not doing it. Just fix it.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So I'm hopefully the Pac-12 will get things together for the sake of Stanford, for the sake of Oregon State, Washington State, Cal.
Right, because they're holding strong. They're going to hold. They're not selling.
No.
No, they are loyal to their conference.
Exactly. So yeah, that's exciting. Good for them. Speaking of fixing things, Messi fixed Inter Miami because again, 2 goals last night to advance his team in the League Cup,
right? Huge
which
tournament
is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
He's now at 7 goals in 4 games.
Yeah, pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
And the question is, could Ronaldo score 7 goals in 4 games? I don't think so. Not in the MLS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and what's impressive about Messi is that you're seeing him make all these free kicks.
Oh.
He's just a back of the net master. I bet you the U.S. women's national team wish they had someone like that on their team to lock it up.
100, yeah.
In the clutch moments, but they just don't, and that's unfortunate for them.
No, it is tough, for sure. Now it is interesting. The Messi now has 2 free kicks with Inter Miami. He's also the holder of the last time Barcelona made a free kick, and the last time PSG made a free kick. So needless to say, it's been a minute for those teams, and he's already coming in. Inter Miami's gotten really good. And you know what? If their defense could play at all, I mean, I think that Inter Miami, they might win it all this year.
Yeah, they might win it all. Well, because you got to think, we're in the back half of the season here for the MLS. You bring in Messi, he's like adding that trade deadline acquisition. Yeah. And I think Inter Miami won the trade deadline this year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you basically are resembling Barcelona here, which is great. And I why hasn't every other team done that before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to think about it. Adding someone like Messi to the trade deadline to really make that push, because look, we all know, Inter Miami, they don't want to build those draft picks. They don't want to have draft picks to stockpile young talent. They want to win now.
Yeah, they're in the win now mode. When you get Messi, you're in the win now mode. Mm-hmm. So that's what they're doing. So good for them. Good for them. Good for Messi doing what Ronaldo could never in the 24th best league, while he's doing it in the 10th best league. Right. So moving on, we got USA Basketball. Patrick, this is alarming. Mm-hmm. This is concerning. USA Basketball's starting team just lost to a bunch of non-starter B-team players.
It is a little bit cause for concern.
But that squad was led by Chet Holmgren, which is, I mean, maybe he's a star in the making here. Has never played a game in the NBA, I don't think.
Never.
But what are we doing, USA Basketball? The FIBA World Cup is right around the corner, and we're losing to the backups.
Yeah, we got to get it together, and that's where I expect guys that are on this team, like Walker Kessler, like Mikal Bridges, the captains that they are,
the leaders,
to step up and really, straighten things out here before the World Cup.
You got to, because if you don't, I mean, we're going to be embarrassed, and I don't want that to happen, And do we have to bring Chet up to the startings?
He could.
Starting
he could
team?
get promoted.
The A team? He might have to be, because if he's leading this team, he leading the backups to beat the starters, you can just only imagine what he could do with the starters.
Right, but in all fairness, Josh, it's August now. I mean, we're less than a month away.
We're close.
But, it's only scrimmages. That's all it is. Maybe the A team's holding back a little bit, trying to conserve that energy for the stretch run.
And they're trying some things out too. They're working through some stuff, testing some new stuff out that they don't necessarily know is going to work, but you got to try and practice.
Run it. You got to run it in practice.
100%.
Exactly.
And so maybe USA Basketball is not doomed. Hopefully not doomed, but doesn't look good. Everything I've heard about this team doesn't look good. You know who does look good though? Jake Paul.
Jake Paul's looking like a winner.
Jake Paul beats Nate Diaz by unanimous decision. And now you have to, you basically have to say it. Jake Paul is the greatest boxer of all time versus UFC opponents.
He is. And the record speaks for himself. I mean, what is he now? Undefeated against UFC opponents?
I think, undefeated against UFC opponents. And you look at like Floyd Mayweather, right? Exactly. Sure. Floyd undefeated against UFC opponents. You beat Conor McGregor.
One time.
But when you look at the list of UFC opponents that Jake has now stacked up, you just have to think, no. In this category, Jake Paul is better than Floyd Mayweather.
Exactly.
And so now it's you wonder what it's going to take for him to be the greatest of all time. I mean, at this trajectory, it's a matter of years, a couple of years.
He said 2026. That's when things get real, and that's where he's the undisputed
world champion. So I think that's going to be. I mean, 3 years. Yeah, I give him 3 years. I might give him 2. I don't know.
Could do it in 2. That would be impressive.
And nobody. I don't see anybody stopping him. And the Paul brothers. I mean, they're just absolutely.
Well, Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury.
It was a bad night.
Did stop him.
He was a little sick. It's like it was the elements. You gotta think about.
Tough. Not everybody's got their A game.
You gotta think about it. Yeah, exactly. But no, it's like Paul brothers were on cloud 9 the other night, though. I mean, Logan Paul gets a huge win in WWE, which so showing that he can do the wrestling side of things because he was a college wrestler, and so you have to think that plays
into his background experience.
Yeah, when you have the college wrestling and you go into the WWE, which is the biggest wrestling stage in the world.
Yeah.
That experience helps for sure. Mm-hmm. And so good for the Paul brothers, just absolutely killing it right now.
Yeah, I mean it was big weekend for Pauls around the world.
100%. NASCAR recap, Patrick. What did you think of yesterday's race?
Yeah, considering that they're going to resume it today, not too much to talk about.
Perfect.
Yep.
Cool. Well, anyway, guys, this is the show. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you guys subscribe. If you're still listening to this point, DM us on Instagram. You will get a free mug and $10 McDonald's gift card.
Pretty easy.
Just DM us. Just say, hey, I made it to the end of the episode. And then
this could be you.
It could be you,
Mr. David Clyde Sr.
Is he watching?
He said he was going to watch.
Okay.
Hey, quote, can't wait.
Can't wait. He does watch the clips, though. Uh-huh. So if you're watching the clips, you're probably not getting the mug. Yeah. But maybe one day I don't know. But anyway, guys, that's the show. Make sure you guys go to picksandpancakes.com to read everything that's happening in sports. We'll see you Friday. Let's have a wonderful week. Let's close the summer off. Let's finish hot. And yeah, that's the show. Anyway, a peace.